Hello and welcome to Walkie Talkies, episode 1. This is the inaugural episode of my new podcast that I'm trying out based on the success of the pilot episode, which was never meant to be a podcast, but ended up being like a half an hour channel update / podcast. And I'm kind of just rolling with it because it's fun. And I think it's a good outlet for things that I can't necessarily make in videos. So in this podcast, I essentially pick a large map. Currently, I'm doing Project Reality maps, but maybe that'll change. And I stand in one corner and I walk in a completely straight line to the other opposite corner. I take in this game, the breacher kit, so I can use a rope to get over obstacles. And I walk in an entirely straight line all the way to the other side of the map. And I also do it on a treadmill. So as I walk the map, I walk on a treadmill, I record the steps and how long it takes, and then you get a very satisfying step counter before and after at the end. You also, and a lot of people do seem to come to these videos for, turns out in the comments, for the arse cam. You do get an arse cam in these videos. That's the bottom left corner of your screen is the arse cam. If you are listening to this only and not watching it, then none of that will make any sense to you. It doesn't really matter, the walking part. It's just a fun little premise for anyone watching the video version. The audio version, you can just listen and it's fine. So thank you for being here. I don't know if this is going to be on Spotify. Maybe one day it will. Anyway, there's a lot of news. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. We're covering a few things today. We're covering, if I actually have my notes open, that would be a great start. We're covering the rise of Squad. There's a new Squad update. Big new update. If you've been living under a rock, maybe you haven't heard about it. I made a whole video on it. Very exciting times for Squad. We're talking then about the potential death of Project Reality. The official death of Project Reality may be approaching. We're going to talk about Hell Let Loose. They dropped a new trailer for Hell Let Loose update 15. Just an abomination of a trailer. Perhaps one of the worst trailers I've ever seen. So that'll be fun to talk about. The finals is back. The finals. Any finals enjoyers? I loved that game. It's been in beta. I played like the alpha. I've played the first beta. The second closed beta is on the way back. We'll have a quick chat about that. And if we've got time, I'm also going to talk about Total Conflict Resistance, which is a game I made a video on earlier this week. This is the kind of how these podcasts are going to go. I don't know if this will always be the structure, but this is what I'm going for right now. It feels like the gaming industry has re-emerged. I felt like there was a year or a couple years there where nothing was happening. Everything was the same. There was nothing good coming out. There was no hope. There was nothing on the horizon. I think the lag of COVID is we're finally on the back end of where COVID, I assume, stopped development for games really properly for a few years. And now it's been about a year or so where we've kind of been back in normal times. And we're finally getting to the bit where games have been being made properly for like a year. And we're reaping the rewards. That's what it feels like to me. There's a lot going on. Let's start with Squad. Let's start with the fact that my window is actually open. So I apologize if there's a bit of background noise. I usually close the window, but I can't because it is 30 degrees in London and it's about 80% humidity and I do want to die. And yes, this walk was done in 80% humidity, 30 degrees. It was actually done while there was a thunderstorm going on, which was pretty insane. There are moments where you see me turning to the left and looking over my shoulder like, should I be closing this window? It's literally absolutely chucking it down, torrential downpours. Anyway, that's the context. Yeah, so let's get started. The rise of Squad. Squad update. If you haven't seen the video or you haven't read about the update, give it a read. It's very interesting. Squad OWI dropped the new Squad news that Squad is essentially, they're rebuilding their entire combat system, which came out of nowhere. Why are they doing that? I don't know. It's great. The things they're talking about, making the game more slower paced, making it less arcadey, making it more kind of based in tactics and I guess to an extent realism, fantastic. Borrowing from PR and taking a lot of, I say borrowing, I mean it is just stealing really, isn't it? Stealing ideas and content from PR and putting it into your game. Great. I've been literally hammering on about how arcadey Squad is and how I wish they would slow down the combat, how I wish they would add deviation of some kind, how I wish there was better suppression, how you could actually... I've literally made videos where I've said Squad is... One of the worst things about Squad is how you can just run completely solo, and it's all about... Not about who has the best tactics, it's about who has the best aim, and it's very much a game in that sense. I don't know Squad is a game, but it's meant to be like a pseudo milsim, so really you want your pseudo milsim to have an element of tactics to it, not just be a run and gun like Call of Duty clone. And they've finally done it. It looks like they're going to do it. I don't know why. Like, Squad is one of... I think Squad's in the top 50 played games on Steam. Like, in terms of average regular players, it sits around the top 50. Which is very impressive for a game that's made it's made for such a niche market. It's kind of insane that they've managed to carve out such a huge player base. And I'm sure a large part of the player base they've carved out is due to the fact that the game is a bit arcadey and can be played by yourself, and you don't need to think too much about it, and it's not too much about team play or tactics or coordination. So I don't really know why they're taking this route. I'm very shocked. I think a lot of people are shocked that they would be taking this route of making the game more realistic when their game has been very successful not being that tactically minded, you know? So very strange, very strange. I'm very interested to see how that goes. There's a lot of debate, a lot of mixed opinions in the comments. There are some people that are saying, nah, man, you can't save Squad. It's still going to be garbage. There are some people saying, man, this is going to be the thing that pushes me over the edge. This is going to be what makes me start playing Squad. This is going to be the update that makes me change my mind and actually spend however much it is for Squad. What was it, like £20, £30? People have been sitting on this for the last 5 years going, nah, man, you're not getting my 30 quid. Are you mad? I'm saving that for a rainy day. I'm not buying a video game with that. You're out of your mind. So we'll see. But the one interesting comment, I saw it there, maybe a few comments on the video I uploaded, spoke about how this, or would suggested that this must be the end of Project Reality then. And I never thought about that. I never even considered it when I was making that video. It didn't even cross my mind, but it's true. It's true. I think if Squad can literally make a modern day clone of Project Reality, literally taking the best parts of the deviation system, the best parts of the suppression system, making it much more team based, making classes actually mean something, and it not just being different ways of one tapping people. Honestly, I would be worried for the health of Project Reality. I really would. There'll be people who will say that Squad doesn't have enough content, and there's some truth there. The one thing that really, I mean, assuming that this update goes swimmingly and is everything you've ever wanted and is now makes Squad the Project Reality clone you've always dreamed of, the only thing Squad lacks is content, specifically, I think, aerial vehicles. Squad just doesn't have attack helicopters. It doesn't have jets. It just doesn't have that element of the game. Such a huge part of PR is the coordination between air assets, ground assets, and infantry. It's the holy trifecta that keeps Project Reality so fresh, right? There's something so cool about you being a squad leader and you've got your GTLDs and you laser tank and you're talking to a guy who's in a jet in the sky, and that's another person, and he flies in, he sees your lays, and he bombs that guy into oblivion. It's just so cool. It never gets old. It never gets old. And if Squad could pull that off, their game, that would be it, right? I'm pretty sure if Squad could pull off both the combat switch up and also add CAS vehicles into their game, that would be it. You'd be done. You'd never play PR again. What would be the point? The only reason left to play PR would be that, well, I can't run Squad, or I can't afford to buy the game. Those would be your only two reasons. And I don't think, honestly, I'd say the majority of the PR community are not necessarily held back by those things and would probably be convinced to jump over to squad if it met all those criteria. Whether that's possible, I don't know. There must be a reason they've never added CAS to squad. You can see with the transport helicopters that they just rubber band into oblivion whenever they're flying across your screen, because the Unreal Engine just can't handle it. It cannot handle it. I don't know why. It seems a huge design flaw in that engine. No Unreal game that I've seen has been able to handle air assets. That's the same problem that Battlefield 2042 had on launch. Like, even that game, AAA title, although, I mean, to be fair, the launch of that game was a complete abomination and an absolute insult to the Battlefield franchise. We won't get into it, but I was furious. Even that game, the choppers at distance and the jets at distance were just like rubber banding. You just couldn't shoot them down, and it's so dumb. If you play Galactic Contention, you will find that there are air CAS in that game. Air CAS. It stands for close air support. Come on, dude. There's CAS in that game, in that mod for squad, which is cool. It looks cool, but it's really dumb because it just rubber bands all over the sky, and it's very difficult to shoot down because it rubber bands all over the place, and it's just really stupid. And it completely takes you out of the game when this like transport gunship flies in. You're like, wow, cool. It's that gunship from the Clone Wars. So cool. But then it just rubber bands into your face and then freezes and then teleports 25 meters away. And you're like, okay, this sucks. This sucks. So that really is, to me, I think, if they can pull off the combat system, is the only thing holding squad back at this point. If they can find a way to get CAS in, they're winning. So do you think, I mean, this is the question for you, the audience, is Project Reality doomed? Is Project Reality doomed? Even if they can't get CAS into squad, do you think it's doomed? I'm just not sure. Part of me feels like it really is, honestly, which is pretty sad. But part of me feels like it's done for. So we'll see. We will see. But it's troubling times. There's huge change on the horizon. Just very turbulent times in the realism shooter, tactical shooter, milsim industry, if you could even call it an industry, which moves us quite. I don't know what the word is. Man, that's so sad, isn't it? I was going to say this moves so beautifully on to talk about Hell Let Loose, and I just completely guffed it. So Hell Let Loose, here we are. A trailer for Hell Let Loose dropped for update 15. I should say, by the way, preface to what I'm about to talk about in this trailer, Hell Let Loose is in a terrible place. It's in a terrible place. I don't know what they've done. I don't know what they're doing. Hell Let Loose for years, the guys behind Hell Let Loose, they'd struck gold. They were just doing everything right. Every update, the game just got better and better. They had a kind of bit in the middle where it was a bit kind of loose, and they kind of slowed down a bit. Again, I think COVID was partly to blame there. But they really picked it back up in the last, like towards the start of this year. They had this whole roadmap laid out, which had a load of interesting stuff on it. And you're like, wow, they're really doing it. This is the year of Hell Let Loose. That's what I thought. A lot of people thought that. They went, man, this is it. This is when Hell Let Loose. It's happening. This indie title that's they've been working on for years. It's coming. This is their time. I genuinely thought this was the year of Hell Let Loose. This is what I thought at the start of this year. I saw the Hell Let Loose roadmap. I saw the bunch of squad updates that came out that really added nothing, and the game felt like it was just becoming, it was like fading away. And I thought, man, this is it. Squad's gonna die. Hell Let Loose is gonna be the new king. Everyone's gonna switch over, and that'll be it. But somehow they've just managed to torpedo their game into the dust. I don't know what they're doing over there. They released an update recently. I played the game yesterday, so this is very fresh in my mind. Played the game yesterday. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible, man. It's so arcadey now. You sprint at some insane speed. You just vault over walls like they're nothing. You can fully dolphin dive in midair and not even break a sweat, not even break your stride. There's no kind of stamina system. The tactics are completely out the window. You literally just run around. You just run blindly towards the attack flag. Just endless waves of you going back again and again and again. You just get shot, respawn instantly. No one plays medic. You're never getting revived. And why the hell would you wait for a revive when you could just respawn instantly, sprint straight back there, get killed again, and maybe you kill someone at the same time? You can run so fast and jump over so many things that nothing's really an obstacle anymore. It just feels shit. It feels shit. And to make matters worse, as if that wasn't already bad enough, they have, in fact, added or released a trailer that was out on some kind of expo the other day. I forget which one it was. I didn't watch it. It was like some PC gaming thing, I think. They dropped this trailer. It's like 2 minutes long. It is the worst cinematic trailer I've ever seen. The worst cinematic trailer I've ever seen. And maybe we're spoiled by the quality of some cinematic trailers, but this was... If I was working at Hell Let Loose and I saw this final product, I don't think I would care how much money I'd put into this thing. You can't, you could not watch this and go, yeah, ship it. They'll love it. It's a masterpiece. This is going to sell our game. You could not watch this trailer and think this is going to sell Hell Let Loose. You couldn't. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's like, and I hesitate with this because obviously I'm sitting here knowing that I could not make a 3D animated trailer, but I could make a Hell Let Loose trailer that is better than this. 100%. They're using, so it's kind of a pre-rendered, like, animated kind of trailer. It starts with this really, really cringy, like, monologue that is kind of, no offense to whoever acted this, but it's fairly poorly acted, I think. Just the voice acting on this monologue, it's kind of over the top in some bits, and it just doesn't quite fit. I don't know why. It just seems really weird. And then there's this very bad animation of soldiers like falling from the sky, and they're trying to attack like an anti-tank gun for some reason. And these soldiers are just randomly, it's kind of almost looks like it's made in Source Filmmaker or whatever that was called on the Source engine, where you're just taking pictures of people for the animation and then just moving the pictures really fast. It just, nothing flows. There's a bit where a guy does this really janky kind of jump over a box or something, does like a roll. It's so weird. It's so weird. And the voice acting throughout the whole thing is so terrible. Half of the lines they've got recorded in this trailer, it just sounds like there's a guy and he's gone into the toilet and he's recorded the voice line on his phone in a toilet. I don't understand why. I don't get it. I could record you voice lines right now. I could do it. I could do about, attack that gun. Put it in the trailer. Like, move forwards, men. Put it in the trailer. Like, I'll do it for free. You know? Hell Let Loose devs, hit me up. I will voice act your next trailer. I'll do it for nothing. I'll do it for nothing. I won't record in a toilet. I'll record it on this microphone sitting at my desk. It will sound crisp. It will sound good. Please, 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 Hell Let Loose. You're tearing me apart. I'm watching your game. I'm watching you just destroy your game in front of my eyes, and I don't understand why you're doing it. I don't understand why. I don't understand. It's just this insane world we currently live in, where Squad is being bought by a company that makes mobile phone games, and you think, well, that's the end of Squad, and they're making the best decisions of their life. Meanwhile, Hell Let Loose, that I thought was in the best position it's ever been in, is just single-handedly eradicating everything it's ever done. What's going on? What's going on? I just don't understand. So that's happened. The trailer's really bad. The music, there's some lackluster music in the background that's kind of just feels like it's slapped on at the end. There's very, very bad voice acting. There's this bit where there's this German line. I swear he says the line and they recorded it once in the bathroom on his phone and like, right, we got it. And then there's like some dead air about 20 seconds later and they just put in the same line again. Just copy and paste it in. You think I'm not going to notice that you've just copy and pasted that line again? Come on, man. Come on. I don't know. It's been absolutely... I've already seen... This was that trailer only dropped like yesterday or something. I've already seen multiple videos in my feed of people reacting to this trailer saying it's the worst thing ever made. They're not exaggerating, I don't think. It's bad. It's really bad. Hell Let Loose, please. Please, bring it back. Bring it back. You know, Postscriptum is on the way out. There isn't really another World War II shooter out there that of a comparable quality, I don't think. So just don't throw it away. Just take a moment, stop, take a step back, see what you've got, see where you've come from, and try and repair the damage. And also, by the way, Hell Let Loose did this thing where they released like a statement after a lot of people complained about the movement changes and this the direction the game had just started going in with this new update. And they made this big post. And in the post, they said stuff that you should never, ever say in your post. One of the things they said was, if you've ever read a patch note or something from Riot Games, or where they would address something that they're changing in League of Legends, if there's like a big bug or a big exploit or something, in the thing where they're addressing that bug or exploit, they never tell you what the exploit is. They go, we're aware of this big exploit in the game and we're going to fix it, right? They say, we're aware of this exploit. They don't say what it is. They don't give you any context at all. They just go, we're aware and we're going to fix it. Don't worry. They don't give you a time frame and they don't tell you what the thing is, okay? Hell Let Loose did the exact opposite. They went in and in this post, they went, we're aware that there's this dolphin diving exploit where you press these buttons in this order and you do this exact thing and you can dolphin dive across the map at great speed, dodging bullets, and it's broken the game. And we are going to fix this on this exact date. And they listed a date that's like a month from when this exploit has been discovered. Why would you do that? Why would you tell me in a sentence exactly what the exploit is, exactly how to do it to ruin people's games, and exactly when the exploit will no longer be usable? Why would you do that? Why? Now I'm just going to go, well, great, I'll just use the game. I'll just know the game is broken until this date. Or I'll just use this exploit until the game is fixed on this date. Why? Come on, guys. Anyway, that's Hell Let Loose. I feel like I'm rambling on about Hell Let Loose. Does anyone care about Hell Let Loose anymore? Is anyone deeply saddened, troubled, distraught to see your beloved game just getting absolutely butchered in front of your eyes? Tell me about it. I want to know. As you can tell, I do kind of pinch from the comments here. This is kind of a place where I can talk about comments, I think. So if you've got any, drop them. Drop them comments. Let's move on. The finals. Now, I did a small amount of content on the finals in the beta. I really like that game. I really like the game. I think it's one of those games that it feels like it's much more fun to play than it is to watch. I don't know how true that is. Maybe some people feel the same way. The finals feels like there's a certain when you watch a finals video for the first time, you're like, wow, cool, look at all these explosions and stuff. And look at this destruction. But the game felt quite, well, good. It felt a bit kind of empty in terms of how much you could actually do, how much content there actually was. And it became quite repetitive, I felt. But that is the nature of like a beta. They had a very limited number of weapons. They had a limited number of, well, I think there are only 3 classes, but they had a limited number of things what am I trying to say? They had a limited number of combinations that you could have between like the champions, I guess, or the characters that you're playing. You know, like you could play the small guy, the medium guy, or the big guy. Or your team could be 3 big guys, or it could be 3 small guys, or it could be 2 mediums and a big, or 2 mediums and a small. But they all basically filtered down to each class had just the best weapon. Each class had one weapon that was really good, and you wouldn't use any of the other ones, and each class had one piece of equipment that was really good, and you wouldn't use anything else. I think it was like the assault had this, like, the AK was just better than anything. What was it? Man, it's been so long, I can't even remember what the strat was. The heavy, like the RPG M60 was what you would use. You wouldn't use anything else. The flamethrower was useless. The grenade launcher was useless. The small guy, the knife was just completely broken. And the stealth, you're literally completely invisible when you use stealth. So there was a lot of balancing to be done. There was a lot that kind of took away from what could have been a really, really good experience and made it just like something that felt really promising. But that game is still really promising. It's made by some great devs from the old, the glory days of Battlefield, which is really good. And the movement and just the visuals and everything are really great in that game. So I'm very excited. The closed beta 2 Electric Boogaloo is launching on the 14th of June, which, if this uploads on a Tuesday, is tomorrow. So anyone who wants to get involved in the closed beta, go to the Steam page and sign up, and they might drop you a key in your inbox. And it's running from the 14th to the 21st, which is what, 7 days? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And if you've already been in the beta, you automatically get into the next one, which is again a classic. Bad Company 2 beta days. I remember that. Good times. Good times. The finals is back. I am going to make a video on it. You can't stop me. So don't even try. Because it's fun. It's a fun game. Honestly, it's the kind of game I could see myself playing quite a lot if they could really just get that balance just perfect. Just maybe have some newer maps. Again, they only had like 2 maps, I think, in the beta. And in the alpha, they only had 1 map. And the alpha map was also then in the beta. So I've played the game to death already of what they've given me, so I really hope they've fleshed out a bit in the new beta. And I also really hope that the game isn't too far away from being launched, because it's been on my radar for years now, and I would love for it to actually exist. So that's the finals. That's the finals. Exciting finals news. I'm going to touch on Total Conflict Resistance, which is the other game that I looked into this week. If you haven't seen the video, feel free to check it out. I also made a couple of shorts. I don't know if people watch shorts. To be honest, I don't know how shorts work. It seems almost completely random what shorts people like and what shorts they don't like. I'm such a shorts noob that I don't really understand. But if you watch the shorts, good on you. I'm going to take a swig of water. Water has been consumed. Yeah, so Total Conflict Resistance. Is it a good game? Is an interesting question that I found myself pondering when I was playing the game, when I was making the video. There were comments, and some comments, again, people were a bit mixed. Some people were like, wow, this is really cool. And some people were like, yeah, it's kind of cool, and it's kind of a bit rough around the edges. And I think that is the correct take. It is kind of cool, to be honest. I haven't played games like this before. I know there's a few out there. They're all fairly lesser known, really, except for Silica or Silka or whatever the hell that game is called. But this one feels good. It feels good. It feels really cool when you're like, the vehicles I think are way better than the infantry side of things. In the video I uploaded, there was a part, most of it was this kind of single battle I did where I was mainly infantry. But there was a kind of vehicle montage I chucked in somewhere in the middle or towards the beginning, I guess. Just to showcase that there's this whole vehicle element. And I think there's also talk that they're adding air vehicles to the game as well, which would be really interesting. I could really see that being so. If you could like control jets and have them flying in and just bombing people, oh, damn, it would be so cool. It'd be so cool. I'm going to be honest. I tried making that video, but the devs approached me with some keys. By the way, if you don't already know, there is a raffle going on to get where there are 2 free copies of the game up for grabs on the Discord. I've got a new competition section on the Discord. That is the only competition running at the moment. Feel free to go sign up. You literally just tick a box on the Discord and you are signed up. And then I pull the raffle on Friday, and if you win, you get a copy of the game for free. How great is that? Shameless Discord plug over. Yeah, seriously. I mean, the devs approached me like 2 months ago or something, like an insanely long time ago, being like, "Hey, man, do you want to try out our game? Here are some keys." And I was like, "Cool, I will." And then I kept trying to play it, and I just didn't get it. Every time I played, I just didn't understand. Like, I kept on trying. I felt so dumb. I felt so bad at the game. And in that, there's no hand holding, there's no tutorials, there's no telling you what to do, how to do it. You're just in there. You're just in the mix. And it feels bad. It feels bad to begin with when you don't have a clue what you're doing. I felt like I was just losing the game over and over again. And if I ever won, it's because I would just take control of a guy and just kill everyone. And that's the issue. I think the AI, at some points is good, could definitely be better. I think the UI at some points is good, but could definitely be better. I think the shooting mechanics are good, but again, could be better. And this is the problem I have, I think, with these RTS, FPS hybrids, is that they're kind of not doing anything really well. Or it's really hard to do. You know, it's hard enough just making an RTS that's really good, right? And it's hard making an FPS that's really good. So trying to make an FPS and an RTS simultaneously seems very difficult. And it feels like when playing this game, like when playing Silka, is it Silka? Silica? I think it's called Silica, isn't it? Hang on. Yeah, Silica. It feels the same. Like when you play Silica, it's the same shit. Like the shooting is kind of, it's okay, I guess. It's not really the best. When you play the commander role and you're controlling the units, it's like, yeah, this is a RTS, but it's not a particularly fleshed out RTS. And so the RTS section isn't perfect and the FPS isn't perfect. It's like, well, why would I play this when I could just play a really good FPS and then at another time in my life play a really good RTS? Do I really need the blend of the two? But saying that, I did find Total Conflict Resistance definitely interesting. I found it interesting. I thought the vehicle warfare was actually really cool. Just sending in like lines of tanks or BMPs or whatever and just charging them towards the enemy and having them all obliterate each other was a really cool just feeling. Like, and the explosions are really nice. And from above, you just see, and you can really zoom in and get real close and just seeing these like tow launchers go off and just detonate people at a distance. And you're like, man, this is so cool. And when you sit in like a BMP and you're just clearing out tree lines, like it's cool. It's cool. It's not perfect. It's early access. But it's interesting. It's interesting. I think if you like that style of game, definitely something to keep an eye on. And again, the dream would be to, of course, have a free copy to try for yourself. And again, you can do that over on the Discord. How long have I been going? 34 minutes. I don't know what the actual time is on the video, but the recording has been 34 minutes. Am I even still recording? I am. Okay. Is there anything else worth discussing? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a quick look at the comments. We'll do a quick roundup of the comments to feed us into the end. This guy needs more Project Reality gameplay. I understand. In fact, speaking of Project Reality gameplay, so this guy says, I need more Project Reality gameplay. That's the top comment that I've just read right now. So he hasn't spelled more. He said, I need Mo Project Reality gameplay. So I assume you mean more and you don't think my name is Mo. Difficult to make PR content, to be honest with you, because the game feels like it's in a shit spot, I think, PR at the moment. I think there aren't enough dedicated players to have more than one server. I had this suggestion of putting bots on server in the last podcast episode. Most people got to me in DMs and were like, yeah, man, you can't do bots. It's not going to work. It's impossible. It's a shit idea. People would just say that 40 players, when people realize that there are 40 players and they're actually all bots, they'll just consider that to be 0 players and nobody will join the server anyway. And you'll be back in the same spot. I don't know, man. I'm not convinced, but PR feels like it's in not a great place. It feels very small at the moment. It feels very small. There's so much going on in the gaming world right now. It feels very hard to play Project Reality, to be honest with you. And I've played a lot of Project Reality. In fact, technically in this video, I'm playing Project Reality right now But I play the game of walking across a map in a straight line by myself. So if you're looking for more Project Reality gameplay, you're looking at it right now. And I can't believe you're not more satisfied with what you're seeing. Did you not see the rope technology I've employed in this? Or that I'm currently employing, depending on which part of the video we're at? Just insane. There was a bit where I had to jump between two buildings, and it was absolute death-defying stunts. Like, how mad is that? Yes, I do want to play more Project Reality. It's been tough. There's just a lot to do. There's not enough time. I've been working on a few videos. The squad thing came out of nowhere. I was in hospital when the squad thing came up. I was literally writing a script in hospital. Pretty crazy. The whole Total Conflict Resistance was a video I've wanted to make for ages, and I finally did it. That felt good. Any other comments? We had some really nice comments on the last tutorial. Some really nice comments on the last podcast. Just a lot of love and support from the boys, and the ladies, which I appreciate. Thank you very much. A lot of just kind words. A lot of words of encouragement, not the kind of thing you expect to see on the internet, really. As Corey Play says, he wants me to do everything, basically. He'd love to see PR co-op on more games, honest game reviews, first-time gameplay for new games, trying early access games, replaying old games, bring new games, elaborate on game change logs, interview devs, review things that you use, like your stand desk, etc. So basically, Corey Play wants me to make all content all the time. If anyone wants to see a standing desk treadmill review, let me know. I'd love to review the standing desk treadmill combo. There was a brief boing. There was a selection of boings that went into the comments. I didn't understand why there were boings in the comments, but I feel like I'm just don't understand a joke, and I'm too old, and so I'm too afraid to ask about it. But now I'm asking about it here. So if anyone understands the boing meta, let me know. Yeah, it's just a lot of kind words. There's just a lot of kind words. So I appreciate all the love and support. As you can see, I am continuing forwards with a slightly different trajectory of picking up more games within the genre as opposed to just playing PR and doing a bit more news kind of stuff and doing this podcast, which is kind of fun. Not gonna lie, it's kind of fun. I've always wanted to do a podcast. We have been going for a pretty lengthy amount of time here, so I'm going to wrap it up. But if you did like this, do let me know. Drop comments of the kind of things that, whatever's on your mind, really. Let me know your takes on Squad, the new Squad update. Very exciting. Hell Let Loose. Can it be saved? Can it be saved? Great question. Not everyone has the answers. Maybe you do. Let me know in the comments. The finals is coming back. Do jump on that. If you haven't played it, you're not in the beta, give it a go. It's a fun game. I think it could be a big one, honestly. For the future, could be a big one. And it's bloody free. So it's almost certainly going to be a big one. And finally, Total Conflict Resistance. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. Thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. And thank you for watching and listening. If you just have the arse cam, I hope it was okay. The lighting, it was a bit dark, so maybe the arse wasn't quite on show as much as you would have liked. And I apologize for that. Maybe I'll do better next one. But cool. Until next time, this has been Walkie Talkies, episode 1. It's a play on words because walkie talkies are a thing that people use in the army or something, I guess. And I also walk and I'm talking. So get absolutely wrecked and styled on. Oh yeah, also I was right. Anyone who ever commented on any video that I ever made on Squad and says, nah, the game's, then it's not too arcadey. It's not about just being a solo run and gun play. Get absolutely destroyed. I was right the whole time. I'm now wrapping up for real. The walk was finished, by the way. Here's the step count. If it hasn't already been on the screen, this is probably really badly lined up. The walk is over. It was a tough one. There was a lot of ropes. There was a lot of climbing and getting down again. But it was still around 5,000 steps. It was nothing crazy. And that was Black Gold. That was the podcast. That was episode 1. If you want more, let me know. And I hopefully will see you in the next one. Goodbye.